Love Them Knives channel. LTK here. What do we got? Oh my God. We've got Tuyaknives. Tuyaknife. I guess it's not knives, it's Tuyaknife. And what's it to ya? Well, here's what it's to ya. This is Tuyaknife Talisman model, made in China. It has AUS10 blade steel. It has G10 scales. It is a steel liner lock frame, steel frame knife. Okay. It's reasonably decent in size. It's a 3.5-inch blade, pretty much. And I think it's I can't remember now. I'm going to tell you a lie. Okay, it's a little over 3.5 inches, about 3 5/8, and 8 3/8 overall. So it's not a small knife. It's over 21 centimeters. No, it's right at 21 centimeters. And it's about 92, 93 millimeter blade. Now, I got this knife from Tuyaknife. Tuyaknives USA Sales and Service Facebook page. So let's get there. Tuyaknife US Sales and Service Public Group Facebook. I'll give you the link to this. I'm just trying to be real specific, folks. I tell you what, I just don't want to confuse you. Oh my God, I sometimes I don't know. I think I'm Alzheimer'ing out or something. It's and of course this picture didn't show up when I printed it out. It's like, what? Okay, so Dave Warren. He is the US rep for Tuyaknives, and they have this knife, which is the chicane, which we will talk about on a separate video, and it's a titanium frame lock knife, and we'll talk about it on another video. And this is the Talisman, which is a $64.99 knife that we're talking about right now. So I'm going to release probably the video on each one of these knives pretty close together, probably within 24 hours of each other, so you can get the scoop on that. And I'm going to put the link to their Facebook. So if you want the chicane instead of the Talisman, or either way around, or both, which I got both at one time, yes. And then, you go on their Facebook page. I know if you're old school and an older guy like me, some of this stuff is kind of crazy to have to, you want to go on a website, click, put it in your shopping cart, get the hell out. Okay, this, you're going to need to click send message and tell him, hey, I want to buy this. And he can send you a PayPal invoice, or he will give you the link or whatever to PayPal. And then he'll send you the knife like he sent to me. He sent 2 knives to me. So, very nice guy. Doesn't live in China unless they have a Williamsburg, Kentucky, China. No, but he's the U.S. guy. So, if you get a bad knife for some reason, bad whatever, I don't know what happens with knives. Detent's wrong or something, there's an issue or something. At least you got USA service here. This is the thing. They stand behind their knives. Lifetime warranty from what I understand from him. And so heavy duty on the Talisman. This is more pretty and beautiful. Proud carry as far as I'm concerned. But I know he uses it like a beat dog, So, hey, I'm not going to abuse mine, but yes. I saw him open a bottle of beer with this thing. It's like, because of that choil. But this choil is a sensible choil. You could go forward on this knife. And it's some pretty thick stuff here. I believe, and believing is something you can do if you don't have the facts. But here you go, 0.65 of an inch, 16.6 millimeters, right? 4 millimeter blade stock. That's nice and thick, 0.16 of an inch. So thick, tough, big, AUS10. And come on, folks. AUS10 is like the Rodney Dangerfield. I don't get any respect of the AUS blades because, I've seen AUS6, AUS8. But, AUS10, they go, hey, actually, this is the deal. Because this holds an edge longer. I'm not going all the way to the end. But in any case, this holds an edge longer than, I'm talking and cutting at the same time, than AUS8 does, okay? But it's not as corrosion resistant as far as like rust and things like that. So I don't think it's anything like D2, but it's, what can I say? You can look that up. Blade HQ has a whole listing of all these metals. Maybe I'll go ahead and put a link down below about AUS10. I think I did another AUS10. Oh, I did. And I had a link. And it was the Factory Equipment hardened knife. Now, take a look at these knives. Is that spooky? The resemblance there? Well, let me tell you the story. Different clips, at least. Okay, so Tuyaknives, there's an owner. His name is Kevin. I'm not gonna, I don't have a lot of specifics, but this knife is made in China. The person that owns the Tuyaknife company has an uncle that owns an OEM knife manufacturing facility, and that facility makes some of the Factory Equipment knives and some of the Best Tech knives. So you may see similarities in the pivots and different things like that. Although Tuyaknife is a separate company and doing their own thing. Actually, the owner designed the knives to date that I'm aware of, but has hired another designer, so they're going forward. They're making more knives other than, hold on, I missed on that one, other than the chicane and the Talisman. There's also another knife that Tuyaknives put out, but it's Chinese. It's on DHgate, but they're not selling it in the US directly as they are these two. But there's more to come. So just to let you know that. Backspacer in here that's G10. So, if you looked at my review on the Factory Equipment hardened, you're kind of seeing my review on this one because these are so similar. They have thick steel liners that are not skeletonized. It's a bit on the heavy side. It is not a light carry. It is a working class knife. These are $64.99 a piece. You get a nice, reasonable box that's fairly crush proof. You get a microfiber cloth. In this one, also, he started putting these pocket clips out, a black one, in case you wanted. I don't need a black one, but he sent me one anyhow, which is fine. And you might want one, so you might appreciate getting one. And when you contact him to buy one of these, ask him about the black pocket clip if you want one, okay? Nice, it's a fitted area for the knife in the box, and that, and that. So you get that, and he said while supplies last, he actually is going to give you a zipper pouch, which is a great deal. Okay, so you have these two little areas where you can put extra things. This really reminds me a lot of the Kaiser camo zipper pouch as well, Kaiser knives. Although this is different. It's different. The zipper thing is different. A lot of things are different about it. But this is a pouch that's fairly similar to that in that regard. You can see here. Okay. And while supplies last, he sent me a flashlight as well which they come in green or they come in black. And since I got the chicane and the talisman, I got a flashlight with each. And these little covers protect the button from being, you know, activated while it's in shipment. And they're very bright, 800 lumen and different brightness levels, including strobe, okay? And they recharge via USB. They're rechargeable. So I haven't dug through here and tried to see what the internal battery looks like, because I'm not gonna. But it's got their logo on it. So it's great. I mean, I got this, I got the box, I got the microfiber cloth, I got the pouch, I got all this for $64.99. And actually, he gave me a bit of a discount because I bought both knives, and I told him I'd turn my camera on and talk about it. So it wasn't gifted to me or anything like that. It was just I whined and begged, and I'm good at whining and begging. Yes. If you have the budget that I have, you will learn how to whine and beg properly. Hold on, let me put this back in here. I want to keep it right. It's my knife. So, yeah. Any case, what can I say about this knife? It's sharp. The action's really good, and the detent is really good on this knife. This is one of those things you're not going to throw out like that. You might be able to, but with my shoulder, I mean, you know what? I've tried to do throwing these knives out, you know, like before I do my review and stuff, enough. My right shoulder is, I don't know, but it feels like a rotator cuff. I'm going to quit doing that. But I can tell you right now, I'm not throwing this out. Look at, I mean, the action's really good. It's a snappy action, even though it's a heavy knife. Where's my scales? Let's turn that on. Let's do that. It's a heavy knife. Oh, let's also get Blue Boy out here. Come on, Blue. And that's the Mannix, the standard size Mannix. So there you go. Although this is 8 3/8, right? So this is a little bit shorter. This blade is a little bit bigger because this is 3.5, almost 3 5/8, or a 16th over that. This is not that big. And even with this being further away aspect ratio wise, this still looks bigger, doesn't it? Flip it around, change your aspect ratio, and look at there. Okay? Yeah, this looks bigger. It is bigger, and it's heavier. This is 2.8 ounces, which is not fair because this is just a little lightweight translucent. I mean, it was made to be lightweight with half the point of that knife, okay? So, plop it on the scale, and we got 181 grams. So, how does that translate into ounces? 6.4. And we just blazed past it. 6.4. Yes. So, it's a heavy-duty knife. It's not light carry. Sorry about that. It's AUS10. I guess I have to apologize every time a blade steel is anything less than M390 or CTS 204P. I mean, it's like back in the day, we had custom knife makers making knives with 440C steel. Now it's like, that shouldn't even be on a knife. You know, I'm sorry. And then half the knives are more than that from Kershaw and CRKT or 8CR13 MOV. And I don't know. I hear crickets. I don't hear the bitching and the moaning. So anytime, you know, you talk about a straight from China knife company, then here it goes. So, I mean, I would want to be a knife maker. You can never make people happy. But this G10 flows. This is kind of that water flow. Have you ever seen the Stedmans? I did one, and it had that water flow G10 design. There you go. And the good thing about liner lock, and I had somebody the other day talking about the Kaiser Tangram knife that I had reviewed recently. And he goes, liner lock, that's it. Nope, that's a deal killer. And it's like, really? Because I hate to say this, I'm starting to like the liner locks as well, or maybe even better in some instances than frame lock. It's just like too many times you're going to deploy the knife and you got your hands here and it's on the lock bar. And so that affects the action of deploying the knife. When you got your finger here and there's the lock bar and you're actually squeezing it, and it affects the way it deploys. When you got a liner lock, you got no problem there. It doesn't change. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Let me show you another thing. Another thing. Because I spent money on you guys. So you won't pay attention. This is this knife. I done took it apart, and there's your blade stop, which went somewhere in here, right here to here. But then, of course, these are steel, so you don't need a steel washer or anything, because this is steel. And so here's your bearings, which look ceramic to me. It may not be. I didn't hear this from Dave Warren, the Kentucky guy, who's the USA rep. He didn't tell me what they were specifically, and I don't know that I saw it on his site, but you can look. So here's your back spacer, and your screws go in from both sides. These are threaded, and they go through the back spacer here. These little, I just call them tubes. I guess they're threaded tubes. And here's, your pivot tube, and the pivot screw's probably somewhere off camera. In any case, so yes, and I always put these rings like the closed end here, and you can see this is the closed end. If you flip it over, it's open, and I always put the open end towards these cutouts, and the closed end up against the blade. Does it make a big difference? I don't know. That's a really good question, but I've had several guys tell me that's what I should do. So I've done it because I'm a good little obedient whatever. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's working for me. And it went right back together. Although when I took it apart, I think, it's number 6 Torx here. So I put it in, I started turning this, and I think it was unscrewing fine. Go to this one and start unscrewing it, and then I noticed it's not really unscrewing, and this is turning. So I took a number 6 and stuck it in there, held that in place, and then unscrewed it. And so it was fine. It was just, I think I did them from this side, actually. Oh, and I just used a screwdriver here, just a small bladed screwdriver to do that, because I don't have a specific tool for this, but, let me tell you, boys, they make them, right? Because I just bought these the other day. And, okay, so you got these, see, the little 2-bit, okay, you 2-bit gambler. And I can't remember, spanner type bit here. So you can see them right there and there, and there and there. So you can use those, actually. And Dave on the Tuyaknife site actually talked about doing that to use them to undo this. Although I just used a small screwdriver bit and it came right apart. I didn't see any Loctite or any thread lock or any gunk, and they were pretty clean when I took it apart. So, bingo. I mean, stone washy, but that's what you're going to do. And really, the grind looks pretty good all the way through it. And I figure they probably hand do these, these edges. When they put an edge on these, I'm sure they're sitting at a wheel or something, putting that on there. So it's freehand, Ooh, let's look. The plunge looks pretty good. And it looks pretty symmetrical as far as the grind goes as well. Yeah, so pretty well done. I mean, these knives are, the pedigree is basically that the owner of Tuyaknife has worked in his uncle's OEM shop that has made some of the factory equipment knives, some of the best tech knives, and other knives of other brands that we can't disclose. So, the expertise is coming there. They do share some pivots and parts and stuff that I'm sure that they get from other production facilities when they make their knives. So, there's a lot of pedigree in here that makes it pretty solid because, hey, I'm all in with Best Tech, and I'm definitely all in with the factory equipment knives. I think they're in they're good quality pieces. So yes, I have a lot of confidence in this. And it came apart and went back together, centered right up, no lock rock, no blade play. There you go. For a hard use knife, I know it's not light, but for a hard use knife, this is a pretty good knife. Pocket clip goes right in and out of the pocket. I have carried this on several occasions, and I have definitely carried my hardened on several occasions. The pocket clips are different. This is a deep carry. This is not. I wonder if these would switch around because it almost looks like you could do that. Almost looks like you could do that. So, you know, buy a couple of these, buy a couple of these, whatever. Just saying. But yeah, I mean, and hey, I appreciate the flashlights. I mean, I really do. I'll tell you what, I have about 10 or 12 flashlights. And you know what? I'm always scrambling for a gift for somebody. You know, some, you know, nephew had a baby or whatever, and, you know, every baby should have at least a huge flashlight. No, but I mean, you know, my brother-in-law, you know, Colonel, Marine Corps, retired, and they're doing these camps for these disabled vets, and they put little gift packs together, and these make just great gifts. And you know what? I'm saving up because I'm going to help the Marine Corps deal. Troubled Waters. You can look that up online, but I'm sorry I'm pitching them. But yeah, I think they make great gifts. So, I mean, the fact that you get a flashlight that's rechargeable like that, and the box, and while the supplies last, you know, the pouch. So if you can work that deal with Dave, that's a great deal. Otherwise, I mean, this is in itself a good, solid knife. I'm going to carry this for a while. I'm going to see how it works over time. And but I can't see any issues with it. It's really sharp out of the box. I've already used it a little bit. I've already cut some packages and stuff open with it, and it just zips right through. And I don't mind a knife that's heavier, 6.4 ounces. I know for some people, but you know, it depends on what you're wearing. You know, if you're wearing jeans, hell, let's go right in. You won't even know it's there. In any case, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to give you the link to the Facebook page, U.S. Sales and Service Tuyaknife. Dave's email address, so you can talk to him. You can get your orders in if you want to order one of these in the different colors. Of course, this and the green and the black. So, you know, pick your color, and at least the backspacer matches, which is always a plus. And, you know, the good thing about a liner lock is you get kind of two presentation sides, that side and this side. They both look really good. I like that. I'm starting to really like these liner lock knives, and I never thought I'd come off of frame lock, but these are just, you know, and man, that liner is a big Goliath liner. I mean, you have no problem there and no problem with that pass-through. Oh, it's easy to disengage, and the action's great. The detent is strong, so it's a snappy flipper. And with this sharpening choil, I mean, that ought to make it very, very nice to deal with when it comes to resharpening the knife. So they thought of a lot of things here. All right, I'm going to leave you to it. Thank you for joining me. We've got a pass-around group. If you want to be a part of that, email me. We've got Trader's Corner on the 10th of every month. If you want me to put knives up on the air, your list that you want to buy, sell, or trade, email me, you know. And we have table sales. If you want to be on the advance notice list, which means you get at least a day in advance of it going public to look at knives and buy knives, and you want to be on that list, you know, email me. lovethemknives@gmail.com. I'll have my Instagram and my email address down below here, along with all the links to get a hold of this knife. And, oh brother, where art thou? Whew, the chicane. Wow. That's just a crazy design. That's insane. And the crazier, the better. That's the way we roll on the LTK channel. Thank you so much for joining me, because you know what we do around here. We love them knives, so stay sharp.